Hello everyone, welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are here in Monster Hunter Portable 3rd for the first time in quite some time, and the last time that I recorded Portable 3rd, it would have been a long time since I'd previously recorded at that point as well, so yeah, I do not frequently record Portable 3rd. There is a reason why. I'll get into it briefly and I won't discuss it at length, but yeah, setting up my chat, organising my microphone cable, organising my game, let's get out of here. We're doing a drink quest. I don't know what Poke is doing. Let's go, man. I'm ready to go. Thank you. I don't particularly know why he felt that it would help to stop readying up, because there was no risk of anyone being departed without. So, or without the group, because, yeah, I was the host. I forgot to eat. That'd be about right. It's alright. I was setting up the recording, so I neglected to sit in the water in the hot spring. That's alright. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to waste my sharpness doing that for fun. So we have two monsters that we're fighting at the moment. We're fighting Deviljho and Tigrex. I'm actually going to try and start with Tigrex. I don't know what these guys are going to do. We'll just have to find out. I do have Oracle, I think. No, it must be Auto Tracker. No, it's Detect, which is essentially Feline Oracle as an armor skill. So Detect is your 10-point skill of the plus 15, which is Auto Tracker. I believe the skill name is Perception, or Psychic, sorry. Perception is Capture Guru. I do tend to confuse those for one reason or another. So we are starting with Tigrex here. Black Tigrex more specifically. He's very noisy. And, yeah. We're using the True Cutter Sword, which is not a particularly good greatsword, but I do use it for fun. I'm just going to double check the game level. I'm actually going to drop that back a little bit. I decided that my last live stream was too loud, so I don't want it to be that loud again. It's still too loud. That's a fact. I think I'm a bit happier with that. Yep, that's, I'm happier with that volume. Sorry to take you all out of the moment by fiddling around with audio levels, but I just don't want to be... I don't want to be close to being drowned out by the game volume. I don't want it to be... I don't want my volume to be almost the same volume, because then it's a little bit difficult to hear me sometimes. At least comfortably. What was I going to talk about? Yeah, so the reason why I don't often record Portable 3rd, there are two reasons, technically. For some reason, you guys don't want to see Portable 3rd as much as you want to see pretty much any other game. Portable 3rd seems to be pretty low on the level of interest for you. Even Generations Ultimate seems to get more interest. But, too bad. Like, I feel like doing Portable 3rd, and I'm going to record it. So, enjoy it. It is... Oh, yes, I did also want to get rid of the chat icon. I hate that stupid thing. It's ugly. I will use it if I feel that I must to communicate with my team, but I'm not going to have it there during the hunt because it's distracting and it doesn't look very nice. Even though I'm partially in the way of it, I feel like the fact that I'm so close to it will, in fact, draw people's attention to it more. The second reason as to why I don't often record Portable 3rd, which is unrelated to audience responsiveness to it or audience interest, is the fact that connectivity is really poor with Portable 3rd. It happens to be just a lot worse than all of the other PSP games due to the nature of the hosting system. For some reason, high ping or unstable ping is a whole lot more noticeable in this particular game given its hosting system. I haven't actually gone into the details of that. It's my theory that it is the hosting system that causes it. It's the only explanation that I can put forward because there is no other real difference. It's the same system, but it is noticeably a different hosting system. It is not determined based on who enters the room first. It is determined by the order in which you joined the quest. So the quest host being the first player, player 1, and then the second host is always the blue player, who is the person who joined on the quest second. So, yeah, for some reason having that be a static hosting system puts pressure on the game itself in terms of connectivity, and it is just less smooth as a result. I don't know why that is. I can only go based on my observations, and this is what my observations tell me. I don't have a beverage today. I've already had well, 750 mils of stout. Feeling satisfied in that regard, so I'm going to not continue drinking, otherwise I'm going to become somewhat incoherent, I think. But, yeah. I'm in a good mood, I'll put it that way. It's an enjoyable hunt so far. I do love Black Tigrex. Also, I should mention for those who may catch me live, the reason why I'm recording at a time that I almost never record is because I am taking this week off. So, I think that's somewhat annoying. I was wanting to use the limp to my advantage as well, but unfortunately, because other people were doing that, it caused him to flinch at a time that was entirely inconvenient for me. He has died because we've got a pretty good team on hand at the moment. This is a drink quest. This is not a standard quest that you would actually get out of the quest list of the game. It's a separate list of quests that is designed to actually not upgrade anything, but in fact give you more choice. So you've got hot spring quests and drink quests, which are unique to this game. The hot spring is going to be part of the eating process. So for those of you who are familiar with food buffs, you're going to get your health and stamina boost from the hot spring just by sitting in it, and you can actually upgrade that. It will always give you the effect that the hot spring can give. There's no randomization to it. There is no luck attached to that particular function of the game. If your hot spring upgrade is 150 health, 150 stamina, you will always get that when you rest in it. You can actually upgrade it through hot spring quests, so as you complete quests, it will become more potent, more effective. As far as the feline skills that you acquire, you don't acquire that from the hot spring itself. You get that from a vendor who sells you drinks at quite a low price, but these are drinks that you have to actually unlock by completing quests. And this is one of those quests that unlocks drinks. I have completed all of these quests, but I did use the Hunsterverse random quest system. I couldn't have taken a longer fucking route to get here. This is ridiculous. It feels that way anyway. Yeah, I used the random quest system, and we ended up with a drink quest, which is fine as long as it's high rank. I don't mind if it's not. Now you will notice that because this is a quest hosted by the blue player, because this is a double quest, which will involve 2 monsters, you will actually see that the second monster is hosted, not by me. I'm going to ping just as an apology. I don't know if these people communicate in that way, but it's the best I can do. You'll notice that the connection between myself and this monster is not going to be as good because the second monster is always hosted by the blue player. So the poor connectivity here, while I don't want to draw too much attention to it, the way I see it is that you are going to notice it, so I'm going to explain why it is that way. And it's very important that I always host quests whenever I can to minimize this degree of poor connectivity. You will not see anything even close to this connectivity when I'm playing off someone else's host in a different PSP game. It's just something to do with Portable Third. It is not the players. I've observed and tested it enough already to know that that is not the issue here. See, if it weren't for the connectivity issue, I'm quite sure he wouldn't have ended up out of my range there, but whatever. I've got a flash bomb going out. Surprisingly, you don't see it as much in 3rd gen, but people do still throw flash bombs just for the basic ability of confusing the monster, or the basic result of confusing the monster. Typically in 3rd generation you only really see it with flying monsters. Or for example, when you are flash bombing a Diablos out of the air after he flies up out of a pitfall, or... Well, no, I don't think he flies up out of a pitfall. I think it's only when he has been sonic bombed into the sand. Pretty sure he doesn't fly up out of pitfalls. He may do, to be honest, and I've just forgotten about it. Hey, Takashi. Just going to shield that, and apparently that was outside the face hitbox. Now, I'm not going to mention this very often, but Yeah, simply because I do not make comparisons to Monster Hunter World very much. The main reason why I don't is because A, I consider 5th generation to be irrelevant, and second of all, I don't have much experience with World and 5th gen in general, but one of the things that really bothered me about Devil Joe in 5th generation was that instead of his face being the main hitbox area, his whole body seemed to turn into a hitbox, which I found to be very lazy, uncreative, and it actually detracted from the experience of hunting the monster, because it felt like, you know, I had to clear the entire area, like I had to create some distance between myself and the entirety of the monster when he's doing certain attacks, as opposed to just avoiding the head region. So, yeah, I really hated that change. There were a lot of other changes to Devil Joe in 5th generation that I really hated, but we're not going to talk about those because I don't really want to dwell on 5th generation too much. But just to give you guys the occasional point of comparison between older games and 5th generation. It is entirely occasional because I don't like to discuss that shit. Okay, well apparently Amatsu Magatsuchi is going to presumably come out in Rise, because Takashi says Amatsu's about to be exposed to the masses in a couple of days. Okay, yeah, interesting. I'm using the Amatsu Magatsuchi arm set now. It's the Storm set. The chest and the legs, in the case of this mixed set that I'm using. It's fairly obvious because the chest is the most extravagant part of the loadout. Now, despite the fact that Amatsu Magatsuchi did not exist in a game between Portable Third and Generations, you did actually see some of Amatsu's armor, so that would actually come in the form of the Waikun in 4 Ultimate. You'd be able to trade for Amatsu Magatsuchi materials, and that was when we first saw that the English translation for Amatsu Magatsuchi was Amatsu. For some reason, I mean, I don't know why, because, and I've said this many times before, I'm happy to say it again because it's been a while since I last said it, but we've seen Kushara Daura being translated as Kushala Daura. We've seen Yamatsukami translated as Yamatsukami. When you have a long Japanese name for a monster, you just separate it into 2 sections. You halve it, effectively, and it's easy to read when you have it in 2 separate sections. 2 words. Easier. But apparently they couldn't do that with this particular monster. They did do it in fan translations of Portable Third, I should add. Amatsu Magatsuchi. If you see it as one word, it looks like a garbled mess to someone who's not comfortable with Japanese and the language. It's confusing, it's impossible to remember, and people just don't bother reading it. But if you do actually separate it into 2 words, it's perfectly legible in my opinion. Perfectly readable, perfectly pronounceable. But Capcom were like, no, forget it. Which to me is just... it breaks the convention of just separating it into 2 words. And quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with doing that anyway, because... oh, that's even smaller than my last one. 1666, number of the beast. It is a very small Black Tiger X. I actually have a feeling that that was a gold crowned large Devil Joe that we fought. Let's find out. No, it was not. I don't know how that wasn't a gold crowned large Devil Joe. He felt very big, but maybe I'm wrong. Alright, so let's go and... what is my Discord capture? Here it is. I'm assuming that that's going to come up as Portable Third. That should do. Come on. Get yourself into gear. There we go. Alright. Random hunt. Let's see what our next hunt is. It's going to be just Zenoga DLC 8-star Blade Fang Ogre Genes. Is this the one that requires use only bombs when the monster... no, that's actually unrelated to the quest itself. That's just a... that's a function of the random hunt. So if you wanted to, you could follow what's written here. Use only bombs when the monster enters rage mode. Quite frankly, I find that to be absolutely stupid, and I'm not going to be doing it. So I don't know if this is the quest that requires us to be naked while we fight Devil Joe. If it is, I don't mind Devil Joe, while we fight Zenoga. If it is, then I'm happy to do it. I'm assuming that it is. I have them all in Japanese here, so I think it's this one. Hold on. The high rank we want. It's this one, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't make mention of where you fight the monster, it just says that it's DLC 8+, which is... Is there even a star level here? It is 8 stars, so I'm assuming that is the one. I don't mind doing it. I'll let them know, I think, through the chat what we're going to be doing. I don't mind because I haven't done it in a while and it's good for a particular event item if I'm correct. Naked Zenoga DLC. It's a good team. I'm sure that they will be quite happy to do that. I'm letting them know what we're doing over the PPSSPP chat because I know a lot of people who play are mobile phone users who don't go and check the Hunsterverse chat while they're playing, so I would like to be accommodating to those people. And if I'm accommodating to them, it will make the process of multiplayer just easier to... easier in general. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to... you can't have anything equipped, I should mention. You can't actually have a talisman, even. So I will take off all of my stuff. It's annoying to do it, but... whatever. I'm only willing to do it because it's been a while since I last did it. Probably a good 2 years or more. And my talisman's over here. So I should be naked now, right? What am I doing? Here we go. Nothing in my inventory. Very good. In my loadout, I should say. Now, I'm going to use Gunlance. We're going to bring Shining Ishtar to the fight. Also going to do a little bit of housekeeping in my inventory. Psychoserums, that's fine. Alright. Hello, bread users. Looks like everyone is content with the quest of choice. It was not my selection, it was the selection of the bot. I'm quite sure that I remember this correctly, by the way. It would be rather embarrassing if you didn't have to be naked for this quest, but that's what I remember. Does it list special requirements at all? Yeah, weapon-only quest. You can see requirements are HR4 and up, and weapon-only quest, which is exactly as it says. Weapon-only. You can't even have a talisman, which I think is fine. You can technically get skills with only a talisman. In other words, you can get 10 points or more with a talisman. I don't think I've seen a talisman with 15 points in 3rd generation. I don't think that's possible, even if you're discussing, or if you're talking about wide range or something like that. I don't think even wide range comes in plus 15 in 3rd gen. And I do mean either this game or 3 Ultimate. Could always be wrong though. If it is possible, it's quite rare. I'll say that at least. While these guys are getting ready, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and I'm also going to get some water. See you in a moment. The timing appears to be good. I only just got ready, more or less. What? Bread User said, "Hey, I finally decided to grind the endgame of Generations Ultimate, and I found a lot of patient and cool players online. Might be the region I have available, but it's nice to be avoiding the impatient people I see on stream." I'm gonna call it beginner's luck, mate. Seriously, like, I don't know. I'm sure they exist. Look, I haven't had only negative experiences in Generations Ultimate, but yeah, you'll find them. You will find them. It's the... most of them are the Chinese, okay? It's not all of them, but a large percentage of the Chinese players are like that. I want to make it very clear that it's not unique to Chinese players. I've played Monster Hunter in multiple different versions and generations, and yeah, it's not something exclusive to Chinese people, put it that way. But in the Generations Ultimate community, yes, a large percentage of those sorts of people are the Chinese, so yeah. What's going on? Why are you detonating it now? What is happening? How did you miss that trap, Zenoga? But yeah, you can see that when Zenoga is not... well, actually he is enraged. Even though he's enraged, I was able to take a hit without too much difficulty. Alright. So we'll do a full combo here into a shell. Sorry if I hit you, Zenju. Fortunately I did not. And then we'll do a Wyvern Fire as well. Doesn't particularly matter what we hit, obviously, with the Wyvern Fire, but yeah, it's a good opportunity, and that's what I decided to do. I took the opportunity. Now he is at full charge level, Mr. Zenoga. We're going to get him into another pitfall trap. Obviously we have diminishing returns in 3rd generation, so this trap is not going to be as effective as the last, but seeing as though it's already here. Guys, it's already here, and we're already standing here. Why do you have to be like this? See, this is another manifestation of the natural impatience of the Monster Hunter player in the 2020s. I mean, why can't... if we all just fucking stood here and committed to this trap, it wouldn't take any time at all for him to get into it. But no, we're going to be precious about it and decide that standing still for 5 seconds is simply impossible. It can't be done, sorry. That involves me having to wait, and I don't do any of that sort of thing in Monster Hunter. Constant confrontation and battle. Constant stimulation. You had an aggressive Chinese player posting deviants in your Fatalis room. Well, there you go. Look, it is good that I do have documentary evidence of my experiences with the Generations Ultimate community. I would guarantee that if someone like you had the experience that you're having, and then you had been listening to all of what I had said about the community thus far, you would think that I was either lying or embellishing my experience in some sort of way, or just being generally dishonest, but yeah, I'm not. Sorry, I've got my cursor on the screen. That's extremely annoying. It's one of the problems with recording on PC. You have to make sure your cursor is not on the screen. But yeah, the fact of the matter is that my experience is exactly as you see it. And I think the way in which I react to it and take issue with it is understood by the people who watch me play. And yeah, it is what it is. All I can say is that I don't know if you play... you must play at a time of day when I would most assuredly be asleep. That's the only way that I can make sense of it. So probably between, let's say, 2 AM and 9 AM my time. That must be when you've most often played. For reference, it's currently 2 PM where I am, so maybe that is when you've been playing. And yeah, I don't have much experience with the people who play at that time because I'm always asleep at that time, so yeah, maybe they're okay. But if it's during the daytime in Australia, there's no fucking way. Just no way. Even in the evening in Australia, like the waking evening hours. I should mention that Naked Zenoga is not a difficult quest at all. That's also part of the reason why I was so willing to do it. As long as you've got a team that's not actually shit, and that's, you know, important to delineate. You have to make it very clear that while it's not a difficult quest, that doesn't really mean much when you're playing with actual idiots. But yeah, this team does not have any idiots from what I can tell. They are all fairly competent late game portable third hunters, and yeah, there is no real difficulty to be identified at this time. I think I've got a Wyvern Fire ready to go again. And I would say that of all the weapon types, there are certain weapon types that function very well without any armor skills. I would say that Gunlance is one of those examples. Another would be Longsword and Switch Axe. I think those are the three weapons that work best without any armor skills. Others are a little bit too... Oh, now you guys want to use the trap, hey? And quite appropriately, you jump straight over it. Let's see if these guys want to commit to it now. No, I didn't think so. One attempt. They had one attempt at getting the monster in the trap, and then they're like, "Oh, I can't do this. I couldn't possibly." It's pathetic. Like, can we please get a grip and commit when we want to commit? It's actually a little embarrassing, to be honest with you, but, you know. Zinju has passed out. Sorry to see that. Oops, did not mean to shoot there. I do not have any shells loaded in there. Ah, that's not good. See, just the fact that you can take a hit means a lot. If there was just no margin for error whatsoever, this would be a difficult hunt. But there is very much margin for error. Sometimes you're only taking about half of your health in damage and you're naked. Like, you've got only your base defense. It's 31 defense, so that is basically the defense that you get from your Armor Talon and your Armor Charm. So, yeah, definitely workable. Not difficult at all. It could have just as well been a standard Zinogre that we killed in that moment. But I think that this is the best quest to do for Zinogre Jaspers in this game, and it is absolutely worth doing this quest for Jaspers if you've got a team that's not shit, as I say. Because Jaspers are probably the most difficult rare to get in this game. It's understandable why that is. It's because A, this is the flagship monster. B, the weapons that are crafted from the flagship monster are among the best in the game. Not just the best within the Thunder category, but in terms of the raw damage in conjunction with sharpness, they are some of the best. Certainly equivalent, or at least close to being as good as the Elatrion weapons. I would say that if you were going to use the weapons irrespective of the elemental weakness of the monster, both Zinogre and Elatrion would be pretty much just as good as each other. Zinogre may even be slightly better for certain weapon types. Case in point, got a Zinogre Jasper. The reason why that's really significant after everything I've just said is that this is literally the hardest thing to get in the game. And I just got one. So, yeah, it's not difficult to do this quest with a decent team. Just play carefully, I guess is my advice. Try not to take a hit, but if you do take a hit, you will survive, for the most part. So, yeah, do that quest if you need Jaspers. That is my best advice to you. Alright. What is our next quest? I don't want to have to keep telling these guys in the PPSSPP chat, but... random hunt. It is 3 consecutive Agnaktor, which is good because I will be able to host all of them. Because they are only going to be appearing one at a time, I don't have to worry about someone else ending up hosting. So, that's very good. I'm not going to be so accommodating as to tell them what we're going to hunt before we hunt it, because, I don't know, I'm just not in the mood right now. Because I'm going to have to keep enabling my chat and then disabling it. For aesthetic reasons. Let's equip Undine and head on in. I'm trying to make up for my rather inhospitable attitude by taking less time to get ready for the quest. Alright, 3 consecutive Agnaktor. I'm assuming it would be in this list. Ugh. Where is it? Does it mention what it is? It's a DLC. It's Jump Agnactor. Okay. That's fine. Jump Agnactor. Is that it? Yes. That will be the one. Someone has sent me their guild card. Apparently I've only got space for 4 more. I'm happy to accept his guild card. I won't accept guild cards from people unless I've hunted with them a little bit. I've hunted with him enough to accept a guild card. That's good. Let's just go for Defender Low. I do appreciate that skill. See what my fire defense is with this set. It should be alright. It's pretty bad. It's actually the second worst. -12. Alright, don't get hit by fire. I have Glacial Agnactor dual blades here. The Glacial Agnactor is strange. You can actually get water weapons through him, and that's what I'm currently using. It is a pair of water dual blades. And you would imagine that an ice monster would specifically give you ice weapons, right? But it's not really true. Alright, who left and who got sniped? This is where I have absolutely no choice but to communicate over network chat. At least he's asking. I'm glad that he's asking. That's good of him to ask. This guy's like... See, even if you can't read Japanese, you can work it out. Anyway. I don't want to babysit the guy. Can't read. I mean, you can... Unless it literally doesn't show you the icon of the monster when you join from the quest board, but I'm quite sure that that's not true, so I think he just hasn't scrolled through the screens to actually inform himself of what the monster is, despite an inability to read the language. I mean, you don't have to read it. Right, Zinju made it back in, and now Audion's back in. Very good. Now I can turn off network chat. It's annoying to have to keep going back and doing that, isn't it? We'll see how many people want to watch the Portable Third VOD. It'll be interesting. I don't really see how people would rather watch Generations Ultimate than this game. That does confuse me. But, whatever. It's been a while since I've tested my audience with this game, so maybe there'll be more of a willingness this time. May as well check out people's loadouts while I'm here. Gives me something to do. Oh, look who just appeared. We've got the Ancient Gaia Smite, which is probably the most popular gun lance of this game. It is a raw gun lance with a high shot level. It's not necessarily your popcorn gun lance equivalent. That would actually be the bamboo gun lance. This is just a good high damage, high shot level gun lance, which can be used fairly... what's the word? It can be used in a versatile fashion. I've got the Royal Noah, which I believe is the Ludroth light bowgun, which is fine. I think that's a fine choice, fully upgraded. He's got Weakness Exploit on an entirely elemental loadout. The reason why is because Weakness Exploit is very easy to get with a mixed set. It's just the truth. Weakness Exploit, unfortunately, is entirely unhelpful for elemental loadouts in this game. It's fine in 3 Ultimate, but it's not in this game. It's because 3 Ultimate has a different effect. In this game, it gives you increased affinity. In 3 Ultimate, it gives you increased damage when you hit a weak point. So, yeah, obviously affinity doesn't help in any way with elemental shots. The only way that it can is if you're playing 4 Ultimate and you have elemental crit, the skill, which basically allows you to have increased elemental damage with your critical hits. Hits, if I would like to pronounce my words properly. So, that is what it is. The reason why so many people have the skill is not necessarily because they desperately want that skill, it's because it's an easy one to get with mixed sets. And is, despite that, fairly good as a skill. It just doesn't work specifically with that style of play. So we will be fighting 3 of these. Unfortunately, because they are one at a time, I will be hosting each of them. I did get stuck in a combo there, annoyingly. It went on for much longer than I was expecting, that combo. I thought that I'd be able to evade out of the way with plenty of time to spare, but then turned out I was still attacking by the time the monster got his attack out, which was rather silly. I just wasn't in a good position there. I really should have been ready to dive rather than do anything else. Have I already dropped in sharpness level? I think I started at white, didn't I? I did. It's a tiny sliver of white. That's not something that's worth sharpening back up to, I should mention. If you're using dual blades, it comes with the territory that you'll be losing sharpness faster than normal because you do attack with the weapons pretty fast. So, yeah, don't sharpen up to a sliver. That would be a foolish thing to do. I may get him in a pitfall trap. I don't know if I even want to bother. Because you can see he's already now gone under the ground. The only reason why I would use a pitfall trap, and you will find that I don't often use traps when I play, I would only use it here to get him out of his hardened mode, so that I could hit him a little more effectively, but yeah, it's not worth it, because by the time he actually gets into the damn trap, he will have gone underground anyway. And I was correct in that. Even though I didn't voice that suspicion, that is what happened. Can we please one zone? That is a huge difference between the length of time you're going to spend in this quest, whether or not you allow the monster to leave the area. If you can one zone all 3 of these Agnaktor monsters, it's much faster. It slows right down when you have to chase them. I'm about to sneeze. Goodness. We have a shock trap down. Fine. Of course, with a shock trap, or pretty much with any trap, you don't want it to be right on the position where the monster's going to spawn. You want it to be next to the monster. This guy has a rather colourful assortment of meat that he's just put down on the ground. I don't think he's going to get much use out of any of that, but good for him. It's possible, of course, that they will be eaten, but it's just not likely. It's better to drop the meat when the monster's exhausted, then there's just a higher chance in general of it not being wasted, if that makes sense. The reason why I don't think it's likely is because this monster is going to be dead before it gets hungry, so yeah. Excellent trap positioning. Now, as a team, we need to position ourselves properly, which is not really happening at the moment. These guys are so lazy. I mean, the trap is down. Fortunately, due to the nature of Agnaktor, and this was not calculated on the part of the team, it's just their laziness in this specific instance not being an issue. You know, the trap is there. It's been there since long before the monster actually appeared. and they still don't want to commit to it. It's extraordinary, isn't it, if you think about it? That the team can be so thoroughly impatient and so incapable of committing. I just don't get it. I call it impatience because what it is you have to wait before you can start hitting the monster. That's the process. You stand by the trap and then wait. Now, it's that process of waiting that is just not possible for these people. They can't do that. It's inconceivable. He's dead already. That's some very effective bombing, obviously. Glad to see it. I'm not really at that point yet in Portable Third where I stop carving the monsters. I doubt that these guys are either, but they do it because they don't play the game to hoard items like I do. That's much of the enjoyment that I get out of Monster Hunter. Building up a box of monster materials that I may or may not use. Whereas these guys are like, well, I don't need to make anything from Agnaktor, so I won't carve him. But they don't really know if they need Agnaktor stuff in the future. That's the way I look at it. How could they know? Now, it's technically possible that one of them just has so much Agnaktor stuff that if they took it, they wouldn't be able to put it away, but I don't actually believe that. I'll put down a trap. Assuming that the bomb position was good, I'll place my trap and hope that it's not right on the position of the monster. It was right on the position of the monster. That's unfortunate. Well, at least I've given you guys an idea of why it's bad to have the trap position to be right there, because it just gets destroyed. I didn't know where the spawn point of the monster was, so yeah, it's unfortunate. Not that it really matters anyway, because they wouldn't have even committed to the trap had it been in a good place. It was in a good place last time and they were like, no, not doing it, man. Assholes. How the fuck did that happen? A few of us got hit there. 3, to be precise. This is the best combo for getting up your charge level. Come on, there we go. Just getting some stamina back. Stop moving around, please. It happens to make it difficult to hit you. I was ready to evade that incoming attack, but it was not necessary in the end. Alright, get him. Need to be as aggressive as possible. Come on, break something. There we go. Broke the tail. That keeps him in place for a moment. Gotta get that one zone. Come on. I don't care if he's out of the carve range. Doesn't bother me. Kill him. Ah! Damn it. That is the most annoying thing when we have to chase him. It can add on a minute plus to the encounter. Whatever. It shouldn't this time. See what I mean? Like, we're just standing here waiting for the chance to hit this prick, when he could have just died back there. Oh my god, this is just insufferable. You want to stop now? Thank you. Now die. So annoying. You see what I mean, though? It just adds on so much unnecessary time. Like, we're just standing here going, yeah, okay. Do what you need to do, Agnaktor, but you're gonna die anyway. Got a shell, which I guess is fine. I probably don't have much in the way of low rank Agnaktor stuff. I can't remember how it is in Portable Third, but I do know in Tri and 3 Ultimate Agnaktor was very much treated as an optional monster. Not glacial, I don't think, but certainly standard Agnaktor. In this game, though, it wouldn't have been treated. Yeah, it wouldn't have been, because I remember that in this game, to fight the subspecies, you had to fight the original, which was very strange, because how it worked. And this barely makes sense to me. I understand it, but I don't understand it, if that makes sense. I get why it is the case, but I don't get why it was made to be the case. So, if your key quest, for example, was Glacial Agnaktor, you would have to kill Standard Agnaktor to unlock Glacial Agnaktor. Standard Agnaktor would not be in your list of key quests, so you would not, in a sense, be directed to kill Standard Agnaktor, because it wouldn't be in your key quest list, but you had to kill him to get Glacial. Now, what that means is that if someone else has Glacial Agnaktor unlocked, you yourself don't need to unlock it in order to be able to fight it and kill it and essentially fulfill the key quest requirement, which is to have that quest be complete. It turns out that for key quests, you do not need to have the quest in order to have technically completed it. So that's really weird. You can actually, like, if you're being carried through the game, and this is one of the reasons why boosting is considered considerably egregious in this game, you can just skip through so many quests if someone's hosting your key quests for you, because you don't need to actually unlock the thing that you complete. It's bizarre. But that's one of the issues with this game. The way I see it is you either don't make it a requirement or you do, in a fulsome sense, not in a cheap, oh, someone else can host it for you if they want to kind of sense. Ugh, it's bizarre. What's this? Jade Baroth and Glacial Agnaktor, Solid and Liquid. Metal Gear Solid event quest, or DLC, whatever you want to say. When people say DLC, they mean event quests. Same thing. So this is going to be a fire weakness. Unfortunately, someone's going to be hosting a monster other than myself, but yeah, so be it. For this, I suppose, we'll go Sword and Shield. How about that? So I have a Sword and Shield set that doesn't have Sharpness +1 and one that does, and the reason why is because I do like using the Elatrion Star. It just so happens to be rather awkward to use in conjunction with Sharpness +1, because it cannot function with Sharpness +1. It is already at max sharpness. Thank you for explaining the obvious, Mr. Doomlink. Now we've got another sniper. Nightmarish. So this is a DLC quest as well. It's Metal Gear Solid, so it should say MGS in the title. MGS, there we go. Oh, here we go. What is it? Bowgun only quest? Okay. I'll let them... No. We don't play like this, Triple X. We don't play like this. You want to know how you deal with people like this? I'll show you. Who is this guy? Pussy. It's Pussy, right? Yeah, Pussy. I don't care. What do you mean? Does he have a hyphen in his name? No, he doesn't. The hyphen is included, so... This little... Okay, so I guess it turns out that he's not in the room anymore, so he must have actually left just before I kicked him, or at least tried to kick him, little bastard. I'm going to let these guys know what's involved. I don't know if they know what's involved. It says bowgun only quest. They're all going range, so I'm guessing that's not a coincidence, but if it says bowgun only, does that mean that, you know, bow is also accepted? I don't know. I don't really get it. So, let's just equip something that I know will work, and that's going to be Elemental Light Bowgun. Do I have like a Firelight Bowgun, or is Evil Flash Flood my only thing? We've got Despot's Wildfire. And what's that gonna do? That's... I see wildfire and I think of fire, but no, that's not how it works. And we've got Rattling Phoenix. What's that going to be? So it's 6 shots. Presumably rapid firing fire. Don't know if it actually mentions that it rapid fires it. Hold on, what are the stat comparisons here? I just want to compare. So we've got 249 there, 239, 10% affinity. Yeah, so for what I want to use it for. Okay, that's where you see. Yeah, cool. So we're going to use this because there's no point using a weapon that rapid fires multiple elements when I don't need multiple elements. We're going to go with the stronger light bow gun and rapid fire, just fire. That's how it's going to be done. These guys are surprisingly patiently sitting here and waiting for me to come back, which is good of them. MGS. There we go. Now, we're going to find out if you're allowed to depart on this quest with a bow. It'll be interesting to see. Strange, but interesting. What would I like to bring? We'll bring fire herbs, obviously. Huskberries. Flaming shots. And I don't have enough in there. I'm assuming this thing shoots a bit of pierce as well. Yeah, okay. We'll bring pierce shots. I'll probably put a little bit of stuff away. I'm going to need combination books as well, so let's put some unnecessary stuff away. Just probably those 3 will definitely do, and then some, I guess normal 2. Pierce 1, normal 2, that'll do us. And then I'll just make sure that I top up my flaming shots. Well, I guess I should put away the cool drinks as well, shouldn't I? Okay, let's put away cool drinks. And bring Pierce 2. It shouldn't be necessary, to be honest with you, but I do these things just to be sure that I have everything that I need. Yeah, that should be fine for a quest like this. This is, I suppose, a higher level quest, but I have a higher level team, so it shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, I had forgotten that there were quests that you could only depart on a bowgun with. These are things that I do forget with the passage of time, but it turns out that that is actually the case. These guys, I haven't seen any one of them join up yet. Is that because, yeah, it's literally bowgun only, guys. What do you... It says bowgun, so why are they using bow? It looks like they're not able to join. They're asking me about it, but I mean, it's written there. It's fairly clear. Like, I have a bowgun equipped. You guys don't, and you all can't join, so it should make it quite clear. It says bowgun only in the requirements. So it's fairly unequivocal. When I saw them all equipping a bow, I considered the possibility that it might also include bow, but no, it says bowgun. Anyway. At least they all figured it out in the end. Of course, you don't have to do light bowgun. Heavy bowgun is also acceptable, but I don't have too many heavy bowgun loadouts in this game. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. It's because for some fucking reason, I don't know whose idea it was. Don't know who it was. Don't know who the individual who thought this was a good idea actually was, but Evade Extender is a 15-point skill in this game. 15 points. Why? It's such a good skill that Oh, it has to be 15 points. What an insult. It fucks up the balance of the sets that are... This guy needs to have his head checked. He left the room with a bow, came back like 5 minutes later with a bow. I mean, get with the program. It makes me wonder why he left in the first place. I'll let them explain it to him, seriously. I'm not going to enable my chat again to explain it to him. It's written in the requirements. If it says that you don't meet the requirements, what should you do? You should read the requirements. He hasn't done that. It's in English. I'd hope that you can at least speak that language. Oh my god. Has someone told him yet? I'm gonna need another beer if this keeps up. I wouldn't do anything as unfriendly and abrasive as depart without him, but he's getting on my nerves. Do I really have to do this? Okay, someone did tell him. It's not like that's our preference, it's just the requirements of the quest. I didn't say pretty pleased with the sugar. Oh my god. I'm not enabling the chat again to tell this guy that the room's full. I'm not doing it. Don't you fucking dare. No, okay. I have to... what I have to do by the looks of it is just keep my chat enabled until we depart, because there's just no point otherwise. LBG? The room is full. Don't leave before you hear me say that. The room is full, man. Alright, now Zizou can come in here. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's depart. I'm ready. I've been ready for some time. Maybe it's the guy from the Hunsterverse channel named Lick, but backwards and in a weird way. I remember him from the chat, but yeah, the room's bloody full. Zizou, for Christ's sake, like, what's he doing? Null says in the chat, lick my nuts, got kicked into nuts. Okay. Is he coming back or what? Zizou, whatever your fucking name is. He's got lots of names, presumably. Okay. Is it safe to disable my chat? I'm going to say probably not. Just gonna keep it there. It's ugly, okay? That's why I don't leave it there. But these guys don't communicate in the actual Hunsterverse chat because they are lesser phone users. Oh my god, now he has to set up. What has he got? Is he running KO or paralysis? Well, status in general, I guess. If he's using Artillery King, then I can assume that he is going for KO, which would be Crag. He's shooting Crag shots. Which is fine, nothing wrong with that. I just don't particularly want to sit here waiting for him to organize a Crag inventory, because that usually requires a lot of combination materials. Because Crag is a shot type that you can't have many of at one time. You basically have to combine for more. It's like a total of 8 to 9, depending on the level of shot. You pretty much have to bring combination materials, and if you have to bring combination materials, it will require a setup process. I regret to say that we've already been sitting here waiting for this guy for what feels like an eternity, before he even got the weapon that was required by the quest, which was specified in the quest information. It just goes to show that unless you make these things abundantly clear, it can just... everything can fall apart. And, I don't know, I suppose I've discussed impatience hitherto, and the reason why I'm impatient at the moment is for a rather different reason from all of these people. It's because I'm live, you see. I don't want to be sitting here for 15 to 20 minutes without being in a quest, because I'm live.
Okay.
I'm glad we're all on the same page. Once we get out of this loading screen, I'll disable the chat and we'll actually do some hunting. Might be nice. I don't mind waiting for good reason, but if we're not waiting for good reason, yes, I'm going to be generally annoyed about it. Alright. Who is our blue player? It's going to be Poke again. Or Pokey, I don't know how to say his bloody name. Hokey Pokey. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the one who hosted last time we did a double quest. His host was bad, but not horrendous. I've seen a whole lot worse than what we saw before. I don't even know who the first monster is, to be honest with you. Not once, but twice. This guy's shooting paralysis shots, even though there's not a full team here to take advantage of it. Very well. And he's paralyzed the monster with his head in the wall, which is just brilliant. And he's fallen asleep. Oh, I was going to say he fell asleep in the wall, and I nearly lost my mind. I would have started screaming if his head were not accessible there. I probably wouldn't have, but there would have been a temptation to scream. I did scream internally, at least. It seems that Poke wants to solo that monster, which is fine. It is his prerogative to do so. In fact, it's better that he does that, because that's the one that he's hosting, so now we can enjoy this hunt, and he can enjoy that hunt. It's going to be a good connection for both of us. Because presumably, if I have poor connection to the monster that he hosts, he will have poor connection to mine. And that's the wonder of Portable Third. It's just lovely. I don't think it's ideal to shoot it. How did you manage that, man? Whatever. By the way, yes, I do realize that I have weakness exploit on this armor set. It's an armor set that I've always been meaning to update, but never could. The reason why is because I understood that weakness exploit beginning in 4th generation did have an affinity ability attached to it. But the thing is that because it wasn't that way in 3 Ultimate, it made no sense to me that it would be first introduced as an affinity skill, change to a damage skill, and then go back to an affinity skill in 4th gen. So to me it made more sense that it would instead be pretty much just damage until 4th gen, consistently. And I just assumed that the skill description was a mistranslation in the fan translation of the game. But I was fairly forcefully told that that was not the case by the Portable Third community, and I obviously need to make amends. I need to fix this elemental armor set, which currently has a wasted skill on it. Zinju is back. I don't know why. Oh, and Poke is here too. I came in accidentally. It's been a pretty good beatdown so far, it feels. The monster hasn't really been able to do much of anything to it. Good position for the paralysis. Not great timing, but it's a whole lot more acceptable on the 3rd paralysis for the timing to be poor than on the first one. And it was on the first one that the head ended up in the fucking wall. Yeah, by the 3rd paralysis it is harder to know when it's going to actually succeed. We do have a limping... Oh, very good. We do have a limping Agnaktor. I don't believe it's possible in Try or Portable Third to cancel the Agnaktor's digging animation. It does happen fairly often in Portable Third, though. The reason why I say it's not possible in the other games is because I've never seen it in the other games, but I've seen it fairly often in this game. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you are going to take it upon yourself to solo the monster while the rest of us fight the other one, don't fucking die while doing it. You know, I don't want to be unkind, but don't fucking die while doing it. It really is as simple as that, because the enjoyment that I get out of hunting with people is hunting with people. So I'd rather have 4 people hunting the monster than 3. But, you know, if you're not able to get that sort of enjoyment out of hunting the monster, that's fine. I don't mind. But don't go fucking dying while you do it. You know what I mean? Is this guy actually... hold on. I'm sorry, but there's something going on here that needs to be questioned. He's just trapped a monster when he's the only one here in the room fighting it. So, yeah. That's the extent of my questioning. It's fairly self-explanatory as to why that's a really weird thing to do, but anyway. You've got 4 people in the quest, and you put down a trap for yourself and no one else. It's like, okay, well, what's the point of the trap? It's to give people the opportunity to take advantage of the monster being stuck in one place. But due to your strange decision-making, you're only getting about a quarter of the total damage you could be dealing. Anyway. It doesn't matter, Doomlink, the monster's dead. Yeah, shut up. Alright. So, I suppose Pocket did a reasonable job. This monster didn't last much longer. But he did die. He's got a full Rathalos like... Oh no, he doesn't have a full... Is it? No, it's not. He's mixed it with silver. Looks like full Rathalos. No, it's actually the boots as well. So it's Rathalos head, chest and waist, and then silver Rathalos arms and legs. I hope no one wanted Dragonbone relics. I was actually getting Dragonbone relics not too long ago, but I don't think it was in this game. I think it was in 3 Ultimate. Can't remember what I needed them for, but yeah. For something, one would imagine. What the hell's that? Confidential box. It is the second of these that I've acquired. Something to do with Metal Gear Solid, I don't know. I haven't played the Metal Gear series. I did play a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, but not much. Well, it was Peace Walker, specifically. And, yeah, it was alright. But it's a good series from what I hear. A lot of Monster Hunter players enjoy it, so... Or at least a lot of Monster Hunter players in the past enjoyed it. Now, I'd say a lot of Monster Hunter players are like... What's Metal Gear? Because when you say Monster Hunter players, you're technically talking about the 5th generation players as well. Alright. Shadows in the Dark. Ooh. What is it? It's 8 star. You know, I don't want to be that guy, but when I play this game and I come into this quest list, I don't sit here and count the fucking stars. Don't know about you guys. I don't sit here and count the stars. You know what I look at? I look at the HR requirement. But apparently, we need to see 8 star and not the actual HR requirement, which is, sorry, stupid. That's what it is. Don't know why I need to apologize before saying it, but you know, it's dumb. It's like, well, I'm not here counting the stars. There are other games where you do count the stars. The reason why is because they are first-gen games where they don't write the HR requirement. But in a game here, where it does write the HR requirement. That is actually your way of determining what level of quest you're doing. And then they simplified it further by just having it, you know... Well, they simplified it in G rank in the later games as G1, G2, G3, etc. But, like, seriously. Why make it harder? What would be fun for this monster is the question. I guess we'll use Lance. I haven't done Lance yet. Yeah. Actually, no, I've changed my mind. I'm going to use a hunting horn. Hunting horn. Where is my hunting horn set? Horn. And then thunder, I suppose. Wherever that is. Oh, open your eyes, Doomlink. Where are your hunting horns? Despot's thunderclap. I do not. Actually, I do remember the notes for the Zenoga hunting horn. I shouldn't need to refer to any external source to determine the songs that I can play with this. Alright, is it 8? That's 7, I think, so it should be in this list. We want green Nagakuga and standard Nagakuga. Brilliant. Of course, they are very much the same monster, but they do have slight differences. I did once say that they were essentially the same monster, and someone was like, "Oh no, green Nagakuga actually does this one thing slightly differently from regular Nagakuga," which obviously missed the nuance of the statement. Essentially, or pretty much, or more or less. I would have used some sort of phrase like that. You know, the point being that while there may be slight differences, they're not actually of any real importance, and the experience of fighting the monster is not really going to change. They are very similar monsters to one another. So, there you go. Going to get these cool drinks back because, I don't know, may as well. Am I happy now? Is that an inventory that I'm happy with? No, it's not. Let's get those out. Now we're happy. We are content. Let's get out of here. And fight some Nagakugas. I used to be of the opinion, it was not an informed opinion, it was just a random opinion, that green Nagakuga was weak to fire, and the standard had changed to thunder from the other game, Freedom Unite. The reason why I assumed that was because that's the only thing that made sense to me. I thought, well, if you're going to change the elemental weakness of Zenoga from primarily fire to primarily thunder, and then you have a subspecies which doesn't have a specific element, it would make sense for that one to be the one that's weak to fire. And then it turned out that, no, actually, it was not. We've again got a paralysis without everyone being present to take advantage of the paralysis. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm just going to draw your attention to it and then allow the stupidity of it to be self-explanatory. Alright, now that we're all here, let's... Oh, that is not the note that I... Well, let's give this note a try. Is that the order? No, it's not. Must be the other way around. Hold on. So this way should be the note order. Is that right? No, it's not. What the fuck is it then? Must be... We'll just keep going through all the possible combinations it could be. How about this and then orange again? No, it's possibly red, orange, and then red. I'm going based on a vague memory. Oh, I am actually flawed that it's this way. What's this then? I'm guessing knockback protection? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's knockback protection. I can't remember if I can actually get another level of this. Is that possible? No. That one's asleep. I'm just going to do a wake up here. We're not going to waste time putting bombs down with another one here. Okay, so I'm guessing it's going to be double orange and then red. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's it. Bloody weird. Maybe I'm just remembering it incorrectly, but that's fine. I mean, I know all of the realistic combinations, so you just go through them all until you eventually get it right. This guy, even though no one's actually fighting the green Nagakuga, he has decided that it would be appropriate to paralyze the one that no one's fighting. I don't really understand what the strategy is around here, but it seems to be something along the lines of me hit monster, me do damage. So, I mean, that can sometimes work well, and then other times it can be considerably embarrassing to witness. Really? I don't have high-grade earplugs. That's shocking. Whoops, I did not mean to attempt to play a non-existent song. I am going to need Mind's Eye. Oh, here we go. Another paralysis. Excellent. There we go. That's alright, it's a major source of his damage, I get it. I'm not going to complain about Crag hitting me away from the monster. I'm the hunting horn guy, I'm not doing that much damage on my own anyway. It's just annoying because I don't believe that Attack Up Large is going to increase the damage of his Crag shots, so, you know, technically that guy doesn't factor into my increased team damage. And he hit me away from the monster despite that. So, I don't know. What can you do? We do have a limping Nagakuga here. These guys are unlikely to... Oh, look, he's stuck. And Poke has broken off. Does that mean... I guess we go to yellow player now for the host. One sec. Are we pursuing that one? Yes, we are. Shockingly, we are actually pursuing that one. I would not have expected that of this team, but they are willing to not immediately fight a monster. They're willing to chase the one we have been fighting to kill it. What I mean is that that procedure involves not hitting a monster, and I'm surprised that they would elect to employ a strategy that does not involve hitting a monster at all times. I think the monster's dead. And I think I just saw a cluster shot. No comment. If that's the only way he can deal damage, I think I'd rather him do that than shoot, I don't know, normal level 1, for example. We have sadly lost our 4th hunter, but from what I've been able to tell, there's no shortage of portable 3rd hunters hanging around at the moment. So that's fine. Strangely, I've always been of the opinion that there are more people who play... What do you... I mean, I'd guarantee he's been shooting his paralysis shots for the entire time that we haven't been here. And well, actually, he was with us for most of that time. But if he had stayed with this monster, he would have just been shooting paralysis shots the whole time. I know it to be true. I know it in my heart. Alright, so... Frustratingly, I don't actually have Attack Up Large enabled. Fuck you, man. Whatever. I just need to respond by not standing near the head. Please don't interrupt my song. This is the best damage I can deal with my hunting horns, so don't hit me out of them. You know, encore slams to the head. Can I extend the length of the song? I think I can. Let's see if it's got that ability. Get off me. Okay, it's the other way. Alright, so this should increase the length. Stop it! Alright, sorry, I'm supposed to have sneak. Anyway. Melody duration's extended. That's what I was looking for. Cool. And we've got another paralysis. Very good. I'm well placed to take advantage of that. And we've got more Crag. That's fine. It usually results in a KO anyway, so technically it doesn't... we're working together with that. And he's going for more paralysis. Very well. That's sort of the typical God's Island strategy anyway. So I guess it was expected that he'd be doing that. I'm assuming that Nug Cougar went this way. Yes, he did. I'd rather have lost the paralysis guy, to be honest. Because technically if you've got one guy going paralysis and another guy going hunting horn, that more or less amounts to 2 people running support. But I don't like to characterize this guy. I wouldn't want to characterize this guy purely as a support player because he does have offensive capabilities with his crag shots. So he is dealing damage. Alright, I'll try to work on KO here. Speaking of KO, I'm suffering the disadvantage of KO. And he's fucking dead. And goodbye, Night Cougar. Of course, all these quests are nice and quick because we are, for the most part, a full team of high-rank people fighting high-rank monsters. You're not going to see much challenge in this game. It's just what Portable 30 is. It was the easiest Monster Hunter game until Base World came out, and it was the easiest by a significant margin. It's just because the monsters are weaker, they deal less damage, and the hunters remain pretty strong, so it just means that everything is done much more easily. I don't think that that compromises the fun that one can have with the game, but it does just mean that what I think it translates to is less longevity for the game. Like, it's going to be enjoyable for a shorter length of time. How that works for me is that I'll have to play it less frequently in order to be able to have fun playing it when I do sit down to play the game. So, yeah, it's just because there's no challenge at all. There's no... It's not just the lack of challenge, it's how quickly you can get things done. That's what that translates to. I guess we're not returning yet. That obviously means that there's a connection difference, a considerable connection difference between some of us, when the moment of completion is that delayed. Alright. That's a good shot. I'm going to put that in the Hall of Shame. That is shameful. It's basically my arse in the air at the end of the quest. Alright. That's my contribution to that channel today. Protection +7, that's actually not too bad. I don't know if I want to take it though. I'm not going to take it because I'm never going to use it. I don't care for that skill. It's not a bad skill to have as an additional skill in a mixed armor set, but it's not really going to get used. So, there you go. So Poke did naturally disconnect, which is unfortunate for him. At least he got back in. Which is a surprise, because people love to snipe rooms. Alright, Zizu is going to take a bath, apparently. I don't know why he's taking a bath at this time, unless he's actually not from Southeast Asia, which would be a shock, because he's a phone user. Anyway, random hunt. Oh god. It's going to be surrounded by enemies, which is Black Diablos, Glacial Agnaktor, Brute Tigrex, and Zenoga. Okay, who's pinging me in my server? There's going to be an iOS Android Monster Hunter, releasing September of 2023. Hunt monsters in the real world in Monster Hunter now! Really? That's what they decided to call it? When I saw, okay, so the picture that they had there saying iOS/Android Monster Hunter now, I did not for one moment, not even for a microsecond, did I consider the possibility that that was the name of the game. I thought it was part of the advertisement. Monster Hunter Now! Like, we're going to get excited about it now. But no, it's called Monster Hunter Now. Why? This is awful. A new mobile Monster Hunter game from Niantic and Capcom, launching September 2023. Try the closed beta test starting on April 25th. Well, you're going to have to hold me back from diving into that one. Tal has given a very accurate reaction to this. That face is acceptable and yeah, definitely outlines my feeling as well. Unbelievable. It's Niantic, sorry, not Niantic. I read it as Niantic. But yeah, that's bizarre. I don't know anything about Niantic. I don't know if they're good or bad or what. But anyway, let's get back to the game now. A real Monster Hunter game, I might add, as opposed to Monster Hunter Now. Look, I don't think that the World Rise Iceborne Sunbreak naming has been very good. I find it to be pretty bad. The only reason why I don't take issue with it is because Monster Hunter has never been well known for good naming. So, like, it's always been average or basic and unimaginative, which isn't a bad thing in and of itself, but now that they're trying to be imaginative, it's still average, so it's more obvious that it's not good. But Monster Hunter Now, I think, would have to be the worst one. That's if we don't consider Monster Hunter Massive Hunting. Now, Monster Hunter Massive Hunting is probably the worst one, but it's definitely neck and neck between Monster Hunter Massive Hunting and Monster Hunter Now. Unless Now is an acronym, it's a shit name. If it's an acronym, then fine. That's good. That's clever. But they're going to have to work out what those letters might represent. Not original wank. I don't know. It was the best thing I can think of. While that's not a coherent expression in English, it does more or less get the point across. But yeah. What would I like to use here? Probably something raw damage based. Do I have the Gaia's Smite? No, I haven't fully upgraded it, interestingly enough. Well, I wonder what I'd like to use. Maybe Black Tempest. Let's use Black Tempest. I was going to use a lance before, I didn't end up doing it. Let's do it now. Black Tempest, come on. That's our Black Diablo Spear. For maximum lance damage. Anyway, yeah, I don't have much to say about the new iOS/Android Monster Hunter game. It is just as uninteresting to me as a new mainline title would be, so I don't really care. You've heard my comment about the name of the game, and that really should suffice. I don't think there's any need for further evaluation. So, this quest is apparently in here somewhere. It is, somewhere. What's it called? It's 8-star, surrounded by enemies. I haven't found it yet. Where is it? Surrounded by enemies. Are you sure it's not a fucking DLC quest? Because it said that it wasn't. Quests do not cycle in this game, as I recall. It must... But it sounds like a... Surrounded by enemies. What do you mean? It's not in there. So I vaguely remember the monsters involved, so I'm guessing it's one of these ones. Those are all Huntsverse DLC ones. Alright, so let's find it. It'll definitely be in the Japanese DLC ones. It's going to be Black Diablos, Glacial Agnaktor, Brute Tigrex, Zernoga. That's easy enough to work out. What the fuck? I do apologize to the team for having this take so long. I can't find it. What the fuck is it? It's saying it's 8-star. What's going on? I've clicked something random. It's not saying... It says 8-star, but it's not there, so... Anyway. Or is it this? Surrounded by enemies. It's familiar to me. I remember the name of the quest, but I can't locate it. I don't think it would be on rotation or something like that. Orion's having a look now. As is Poke, but... Yeah, that's strange to me. Because, to my understanding, you're not going to have a quest that will sometimes appear, and then sometimes not. Not in this game. But, whatever. Hello, Simply Rome. Apparently they located it, which is fine, as long as it was worked out in the end. I just don't want other people to be hosting quests for reasons that I've already expressed and explained. But fine. Maybe it's a Hunsterverse DLC. It's possible. If it is, then that's really annoying because it makes no mention of it being Hunsterverse DLC. It doesn't even say DLC, it just says 8-star. So, what the fuck? It can't be Hunsterverse then. Annoying. I'm just gonna hope that the monsters aren't gonna be teleporting all over the fucking place. You know, the connectivity between myself and other hunters in this particular game has always been bad, but it's become worse since the server was migrated to a different one. It's now even further away from Australia, so I could have the best connection in the world, and it's still going to suck because I'm literally on the opposite side of the planet to that server. And you see, I'm not going to whine about it just because I'm in Australia and that's somewhere in the UK. Fine. But a very large percentage of the people who play on Hunsterverse are in Asia. They're pretty far from the UK as well. It's a fairly sensible frustration for both myself and other people that it's like this. Alright, are we fighting them one at a time or is it two at a time? I don't really care at this point. What did we start with? Oh, it is one at a time. Okay, well, that's really annoying then because it's all going to be hosted by Pocket. It could have all been hosted by me, but I couldn't locate the quest. Ugh. Very frustrating. Yeah, take it easy, man. Just going to keep my shield up there. I've got some sonic bombs going out, which I'm happy to see. Armand is using the Guan Dao. Oh my god. It's a bit of a throwback. He's got such an appropriate loadout. So he's using the classic, you know, 3rd generation weapon that all of the noobs used to use back in Monster Hunter Tri. And he's also got the most basic armor set of Portable 3rd for the endgame. So it's kind of funny to see that mixture. I don't want to put him down, it's just that people using that longsword on a quest that doesn't necessarily have monsters that are weak to dragon, it's very reminiscent of the old Tri community and the people who really didn't know what they were doing in Tri, just using a random weapon that they happened to have. And then in conjunction with that, I see that he's using, you know, the most basic armor set possible for Portable 3rd in the end game, so, yeah. It is what it is. Just getting a little closer though. Would have liked to have hit Armand there so that he didn't get stuck, but... Oh, fucking hell. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Now, connectivity issues do become more obvious and are indeed more problematic when the monster's moving faster. And obviously when the monster's moving faster, it's more important to be able to see where the monster is at all times. In real time. Not, you know, having them fucking lag all over the screen. What's going on? Are you dead already? My god, what a fight. What a silly quest this is. it doesn't present anything even resembling a challenge, because yes, you look at the quest and your immediate reaction is, oh shit, that's a lot of monsters to fight, but you're fighting them one at a time. They have almost no health, and you're given mega potions. This is not a challenge. It's more like a waste of time. And I don't find it fun because it's the most uninteresting location to fight monsters. I mean, look at this place. It's very drab. And I've obviously been hunting here for a long time, so I just... You know, this is one of the worst quests you could have, I think. There's just nothing going on. It's boring and soulless. But that's what was selected for us, and I didn't really immediately remember that, so... That's fine. We're experiencing it, and that's hopefully going to inform us in the future. I'll be able to avoid this quest next time. I don't even know what you get from it. What are you doing? What was that? Orion, please don't detonate those bombs. He was bloody close. He doesn't seem to realize that standing that close to those bombs is really risky, even if you're not aiming at them. Don't underestimate how easy it is to hit bombs accidentally. Look at him. Why are you guys just... How can it be that there is just no desire to commit to traps? How can it be? Like, it's right there. The monster is so close to the trap. We put the trap next to the monster because if he spawns on the trap, it breaks the trap. But if even under the circumstances where the trap has been placed close to the monster, you don't want to commit to it, what is the point of placing the trap? The guy who placed the trap didn't even want to commit to it. Why? Now we've lost the bombs. It's just... It's like a bad joke. You can see the strategy of it, but then simultaneously there is no desire for the team to actually follow up on the strategy, despite it being entirely reasonable. No, you don't place the trap where the monster spawns because it breaks the trap. But apparently, if you place it slightly to the side of it, because it's not on the monster, people don't want to commit to it. And the guy who placed it didn't want to commit to it, so it begs the fucking question, why do we place the trap in the first place? It's not complicated, it's not a strange question, because I can see where the logic is lacking, and it's not on my side, it's on their side. Like, what the fuck? It's like a joke. It's like a joke that I'm not in on, and I'm sitting here trying to make sense of it, but in actual fact, it's just a troll. That's what it's like. And I don't think it is that. It's just because they are so bereft of sensible strategizing that it's just... You know, when a strategy is actually being used, it doesn't actually do anything. Nothing happens because they can't follow it through. It's really weird. I'm sorry. I mean, some people might not find it that funny or frustrating or anything, but to me, it's like... It's the epitome of just stupidity. It's really bizarre behavior. I can't make sense of it. Cannot make sense of it. And then you guys would say, well, why does it matter to make the monster's dead already? But the thing is, if you're going to do something, make something out of it. You know, what's the point of playing if you're just going to drop a trap and then not even use it at all? Like, you've placed it because you obviously want to make use of it, so why not make use of it? It's just weird. I shouldn't be that surprised because we are playing a game where you don't really have to trap the monster. Everything just dies so easily that I get why they don't even bother committing to it, but, you know, if you're going to place the trap, at least do something with it. Christ. Doesn't make sense to me. Ugh. What's next on the agenda? Black Tigrex. Well, let's just use this trap for that monster, or is it not going to be close enough? Probably not. I don't think Tigrex is going to spawn anywhere close to this trap, so I'm guessing this is going to go unused as well. Or it's going to once again go unused for this next upcoming monster. Honestly. Like, what the fuck? It's just certain communities are just even more blasé than others about strategy, but the Portable Third community is just on another level. Like, they just don't give a fuck. Because they don't need to. Actually don't need to. They know what's necessary and what's not. Apparently they've been reminded of the existence of the trap, so they're willing to stand here for 5 seconds to have the monster go in here, but they weren't willing to stand here for 5 seconds last time. I'm not sure what's changed. The fleeting whims of an impatient team. strange. You normally wouldn't want to be that aggressive in attacking the head, but because I do have counters with my lands, it's not as risky. You can see that this monster is just going all over the place. Ugh, awful. But yeah, those of you who watch me play with these people and wonder how I can react in such a way to what they do, it's because I'm not used to that sort of thing. I'm not used to people, you know, doing something and then being like, oh, never mind. And you're just like, what? Ugh. And it's happened consistently. It hasn't just been a one-off scenario. Like, we've seen it repeatedly in this recording. It's funny. Just shows you, it's like, I'm not placing traps. Why? Because I don't need to. Like, you've seen that. But these guys are placing traps and still don't use them. So, I don't really know what's going on, but anyway. I mean, what's the harm? I guess the harm is that you have to stand there doing nothing for a few seconds and, you know, that's not stimulating enough. You just have to keep playing. I want to keep hitting the monster. Traps? No. Forget it. Me hit monster. Me do damage. I feel like I've been chasing this monster the entire time. Oh, that was a good knockdown. That's almost unheard of. The lance guy attacks the head, is joined by a longsword user, and then the lance user causes the longsword user to flinch. Don't think I've ever seen that. I feel no sense of contrition, of course, because, you know, like, if you're the longsword guy and you're on your hands and knees, like, what are you doing? That's more of the feeling that I get. Alright, last monster is Zenoga. It's not going to be any more or less challenging than any monster we've fought so far. It's just a very... You can see how long this quest goes for. It's just... It feels as if most of the time you're spending is just waiting for monsters to spawn. Another pointless trap has gone down. You know what? Maybe two. You fucking... What if I want to place a bomb? Have you ever considered that I might want to place a bomb by this trap, mate? Alright, I'm going to drop it now. You stop it. Yeah, you aim on him, that's fine. I'm putting down a fucking bomb. It's this weird thing called strategy. Strategy. They're not going to go for it. No. No. Well, I'm not going to be an idiot and stand there by the trap. If none of like, I know that they're not going to go towards the trap, so I'm not going to waste my time. This is just awful. Look at this connection. I can't even see what the monster's going to do, because there's no consistency to its movements. It's just snapping in different directions. I'm getting a lot of negative affinity hits. I'm wondering what my affinity is. It's only -10, but it feels more like -20. Or even higher. Like, look at that. Look how frequently I'm getting negative crits. Unfortunately, the hit that I really didn't want to be negative there ended up being negative. So. It just feels like it's more frequent than 10% of the time. Feels more like 40% of the time. Well, it's Flinch him out of that, I reckon we can. Sometimes it can be more dangerous when you've got lag, and other times it can be less dangerous. Not sure how I feel about it at the moment. What are you doing? Get your stamina back up. And he performed instant transmission. Had to cancel that pretty quickly. I sort of suspected that that was going to come, but I was... I don't know, charging for the heck of it. Lance charging. It's a lonely looking trap over there. I'd say it's worth picking up shinies from Zenoga, definitely, because you never know, might be a Jasper. And he's dead. Well, I'm glad we got that quest done in less than 15 minutes. Feels like less time has been wasted as a result. Oh, of course, well. It's only Mega Potions in this quest, so there is no chance for a Jasper after all. That's a shame. Why? How are we going for time? It is... probably... well, we'll do one more quest, how about that? I'm happy enough with one more. Who is this? Someone's saying hello to me, and I just don't know who it is. Zenith the Besto. I can't fucking read that name. Anyway. I'm just going to respond with a hi guys, because... I don't know, it's kind of rude to be like, who are you? Didn't even get any rares out of all that crap. Well, got a plate, but that... I don't think that's particularly rare. Not in high rank. Oh my god. Didn't get a Black Diablo's horn of any kind either. I mean, you'd give me something for that amount of time, wouldn't you? But no, no. I suppose not. Alright, what are we going to do next? No. Okay, I'm going to ask him to reroll. Well, anyone can reroll, quite frankly, I don't really care. There is for team? What do you mean? 4 people? Scared of Ugnaught? Yeah, right. Definitely just trembling with fear at the idea of hunting an Ugnaught. You know, I've requested a reroll, but come on, just type !C random hunt. I've already done it. I can't reroll because there's a fucking cooldown for reasons that I can't even begin to understand. Again, I understand it, but I don't understand why it's been done that way, if you get me. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Oh, we got another random hunt. Arzuros, really? This is just awful. So we get two of roughly the same hunt, and then we get a single Arzuros. Why is that even in the pool of possible quests? It's so boring. I mean, there's a double Arzuros quest, which is slightly more enjoyable, but it's still boring. Alright, let's do Agnoktor. I'm fine with doing Agnoktor. Why do we keep... No. Let's just do Agnoktor. I feel like the bot has spoken, and now it's giving us trash because we don't want to do it. Yeah, I'll just bring a longsword. How about that? Keep it simple, keep it fun. We've got the Argosy Sea Captain's longsword from Monster Hunter Tri. I'm surprised that it's even in this game, to be honest, but it is. But it's a good longsword. It's really only good in the high rank games, so Tri and Portable Third. It doesn't end up being very good at all in 3 Ultimate, unfortunately. And I can't remember how it fares in 4th gen. At all. If it's even in those games, that is to say. Jump Agnoktor. There we go. So this will be the last hunt of the day. The last Freedom Unite recording that I did was very heavily edited. I was basically cutting out all of the downtime in between quests. That won't be necessary for this recording because there hasn't been much downtime. There was a little bit of downtime with the fucking guy who was really struggling with equipping a bowgun for that last quest, but... or for that previous quest, but yeah, it wasn't bad enough to have to edit through it, so... yeah, as for whether or not I edit through it, it depends on how much downtime we're dealing with, and it's been fine for this one, so... keeping it untouched. Alright. I don't know who our 4th hunter is. I think that's what Orion was asking in the chat. I think he was asking if we had a 4th hunter in broken English. And look, I shouldn't even say things like that. I encourage people to speak in English even if they speak poorly, because there's an entire community of people on the earth who live in many different countries who all speak one language, who almost, without exception, refuse to speak English. So, yeah, I do appreciate the people who go to the effort. I'm just going to advertise the room. I don't remember who the other guy was, but he hasn't come back yet. So I'm assuming that he is pretty much gone. If we don't get anyone within the next, let's say, 2 minutes, I'm happy to depart. It's not that we require 4 people, it's more that I feel it's a good thing to do for the sake of the community to say, look, there's a free spot. If anyone is wanting to hunt and doesn't have a room, they can come and hunt with us. That's the idea. But we don't particularly need the 4th hunter. I'm not sure why this guy is using ice. It just so happens that the raw damage of that bow may make up for the bad elemental choice, but whatever. I'm sure ice does a little bit of damage, but your primary is water and your secondary is dragon for this monster. I'm ready to go when these guys are ready to ready up. But yeah, the random selector command, random quest selector command, is pretty much a good way of doing what I would be doing anyway. automates the process of selecting a random hunt. The only thing that would be... What I would do if that didn't exist is I would probably just ask people, look, post what you want. I would leave it out of my hands. If a quest is being selected that I haven't chosen for myself, it makes it a bit more fun. If that's something that someone else has to do instead of me, fine. But in this case, it doesn't have to be a person selecting it. I can actually just use that command to make the decision for me. And that way we can all enjoy a quest that hasn't been selected by ourselves. Why is that fun? I don't really know how to put my finger on it. I feel like you either know or you don't. You either understand it or you don't. It has to do with personal experience. When you're in the end game, it's just more fun to do something at random. For some reason, you feel less inclined to depart on the quest if you've decided to do that quest. When that is assuming that you don't need anything in the game. That's why I say end game. Alright. What is it we're hunting again? It's Agnaktor. So we'll go this way. Now, longsword's not going to be very useful at the start here. As you can tell, I do not have Mind's Eye, and I shouldn't really need Mind's Eye. I'm trying to hit the face. Ironically, he can hit me with his face without difficulty, but I can't hit his face. Despite being quite close to him. I did see someone attempt to throw a flashbomb. You really should... When you unsheathe into an attack, you really should go for that opportunity to get 2 overhead swings in. I haven't been doing that because I'm just lazy when it comes to that, but I should be going for that second overhead. One of the reasons why I don't like longsword underwater is because you can't do that. You only get a single overhead swing underwater when you unsheath. So this is what I mean, this here. It's ideal for damage dealing. Very good. Just getting a few extra hits in during my spirit combo so that I can keep my charge gauge up. What are you... There's nothing over there, Agnaktor. Let's get with the program. Maybe he's doing it to confuse us. Oh, good. See, the experience as the hunter is basically one of sitting here waiting for him to finish doing what he's doing. It's like, alright, are you done yet, Agnaktor? Whereas to Agnaktor, it's actually, I don't know, a form of attack. But we're actually standing around waiting for him to finish up. Let us know when you're done, Agnaktor. Oh, that was him falling over. Very good. There is a separate audio cue for that. But I'm just going to get my charge up here. Hold on. Yep. Yeah, there's a separate audio cue for that, but I don't have my sound in. So, well, in my ears. I'm quite literally hurting myself to get these materials. It's all recoverable red health anyway. Alright, so we want to put the bomb, or rather the trap, next to the bombs here, like this. Those bombs should be well positioned to hit the monster when he spawns, but we don't want him to spawn on the trap. The question is, will these guys make use of the trap? Question of the fucking day. I've sadly lost my charge gauge in the time that we've spent waiting for this monster to respawn. Come on. There goes my trap. There I go, failing to do my double overhead again. That chest is broken already. I did actually neglect to sharpen before this fight. That was definitely an oversight. Ugh. Well played, Agnatul. I do start with a decent amount of white, so I'm happy to sharpen up to that. Like I said, I should have done it in between the killing of the first Agnator and the spawning of the second, but I just forgot to do it. The body is now broken, which made it so that I didn't need to adjust in the way that I had just done so. I was hoping to Fade Slash out of that, but came too slowly. Not as an evasive maneuver as in evading through it, but to create some distance between myself and the monster. That was the plan. I don't mind getting hit by the fire geyser, I just don't want it to interrupt my spirit combo. Which it did not. Very good. I'm actually doing better this time than last time. I suppose it's because I'm using a longsword. Longswords are very strong. What was I using last time? Dual blades. Dual blades are very good in this game too, but longsword is just on another level. My longsword is pretty much already warmed up by the time the next one spawns as well. It's not starting at nothing, it's starting at yellow, so that also accounts for a faster killing of the monster. I think we've got 2 traps down this time, which is awfully cute of the team. Maybe they're doing it to show me how it's done. Don't know. We really do have to wait a long time, don't we? Oh, apparently they were able to get to those... that's very good trap positioning now. I was expecting the monster to body block the bombs, actually. You can really feel the hit lag with this longsword when it's charged up. Well, I was hoping I'd be able to get a second roll through that, but did not come fast enough. Oh god. Jesus, what is the monster doing? It can't make up its mind. It did 3 separate things all at once there. I think it ended up backing into the trap in the end, didn't it? What is happening? Did it get paralyzed for a very brief time and then go into the trap? I don't understand. Maybe Audion was shooting paralysis coatings or something, I don't know. But the monster hadn't been paralyzed yet, so it shouldn't have been that quick. Maybe yet another trap went down. I don't know. There were some strange things going on with that monster there, so that's about all I can say. What precisely happened, I'm not going to try and make heads or tails of, but Suffice it to say, the monster was doing weird shit. Alright. I'll pose with the Agnaktor's mouth open like like hunters do with big game. Fucking bastards. Anyway. Oh, if you like hunting big game, good for you. I just think less of you for it. And I would encourage you not to discuss it with me. Hunting in general, quite frankly. Hunt to eat or stay home, mate. Alright. I thank you all for watching. This has been the first Portable Third recording I've done in quite some time. I will probably do... well, I may do another recording tomorrow. I'll be going away for a few days. So I won't be able to record, but... that doesn't really mean anything because there are often times, 7 days of me not recording anything. So, yeah, actually doesn't mean anything. But I guess my point is that if I don't record tomorrow, there's no possibility of me recording for a number of days afterwards. So we'll see how I go. It depends what I'm up to. But I do bid you all farewell for the moment. And thank you for watching. See you next time.